Okay, I've got the blade heating up, working on upsetting it and stretching it the last little bit. Just trying to get it right at 12 inches right now. I'm trying to push it, trying to get to 13. So that's what I'm doing. I'm, upsetting it over the anvil, extending it over there, trying to get the blade length in there. This is just taking a lot of time. As far as it goes, my recommendation, if you're ever going to do a knife, especially when you've got a set length that you have to get to, start with a piece of stock that's at least that long. It's going to be a whole lot easier. I'm dealing with this, having to deal with what I've got, using a lawnmower blade because what I had on hand I know was hardenable steel. Trying not to spend any money on this. It's also why I'm going to be using an oak handle for it. And then when I go to do the pins, to put that in, I'm going to be actually using two 16-penny nails. And I'm going to just cut the ends off and pin over so that they're in there flush with the handle on that. Holding material, using oak because that's the hardwood that I have. Not necessarily the ideal wood for it, but for what I'm doing and what I need it for, it should work just fine. So, just trying to go in here and getting this worked out. All right. Alright, we've worked that out, got the tip formed out, got the length to probably about 12.5 inches right now, so it's the overall blade length. Tang's too long. I was handling that when it was cold earlier, so that'll end up needing to be cut off, but easier to remove material than to add it in. Where I started the tang was already where the metal was cut as a natural point. I don't think I could have used that anyways into the blade very easily, at least. So dealing with that issue, got the blade length out. I wanted to go for 13. I'm going to have to go for around 12.5. Got the tip formed out. Really was not happy with what the tip was looking like until I really started working on it on the horn as I was trying to stretch that out. Got the blade to just under 12 inches. I'm like, come on, let me get just a little bit more out of here. Upsetting and then lengthening out as I was doing that, formed the tip. Really like how the tip is formed out right now. So I'm going to go with that. Got the blade and the forge cooling off. Forge is bricked off front and back so that the heat stays in there to help to let the blade cool down nice and slow. Try to reduce all the stresses that have been put into it. Hopefully next time I come back to it, I'll be able to double check it, make sure I get everything straightened out, and then start a little bit of grinding on it. As far as actually, I don't know what I'm going to want to do, because I might want to try and quench it first, simply because it'll be less likely that it'll warp, and if I have any issues, it'll be easier to straighten it out at that point. For tempering it, I'm actually going to use my barbecue grill. It'll get up and maintain a steady 500 degrees at this point in time. So that's just what I'm going to put in it and temper it for that for a couple hours, because that's going to be boring. But I will definitely get the quench filmed. Other issue I'm running into is I need more oil, because I don't have enough oil in my pot right now as it is to do it. I've got plenty of motor oil that I could theoretically use, but I really don't want to use motor oil because I'm afraid of the fumes that could come from it. Simply because it's a petroleum product, so it could put off some very nasty gases, and I don't want to be lighting that stuff on fire. I also don't think it's ideal. Other people use like peanut oil. I'm using used corn oil because it's fry oil that I use with cooking, and since it's left over, I mean, once the oil gets contaminated, you start to burn the oil. It gets a darker brown. You cook some stuff like egg rolls in it. Now it's useless for French fries, you know. Really, that's what it is. Kind of wish I had done peanut oil and fried a turkey, but I haven't ever done that. If I knew somebody that did, that would be more than enough oil for me. But just gotta work it out and figure out what I'm going to do and how I'm going to be doing this. I'm quite possibly going to take and test temper a piece of the other blade. I don't know if I want to do that, because if I do, and this blade ends up breaking, then I don't have that to start all over again. So hopefully everything goes well. Remember, always work and try to be safe, because emergency room's in nobody's budget.